Good morning, students. In the previous class I have shown you different types of flowers. Flowers belonging to Malvaceae family, which was the hibiscus. Then the flowers belonging to Solanaceae, that is of the Datura and Petunia, and one more flower I have shown you that this flower belongs to Solanaceae. Then Cucurbitaceae family. So the different families, just I have collected few flowers whichever was available in my neighborhood, and this you can do yourself also. Just collect even the wild flowers, collect the flowers, try to dissect them, try to identify that whichever part is the stamen, which is stamen or pistil, or this which male part or female part, callen, number of petals, number of sepals. So just count and write, and then you can, if you know the terms related to the flower, then you can easily identify that whatever is the structure of that particular flower. So here today we'll discuss about the technical terms. All the technical terms, all possible technical terms that we use for a flower, and even will discuss about the basic structures that you have studied in class 9 also, but maybe you have forgotten that, or you may skip that these terms. So we'll start with the basics of flower, and then we'll come to the technical terms, advanced terms that we use in class 11 for the theories, and for class 12 for the practical examination. Because in Viva is not there, but maybe the examiner may ask you few terms related to the flower. So you must know these terms related, and the technical terms related to this. So let's start with the first part, which is parts of flower. Each flower is having 4 whorls. 4 whorls. Out of these 4 whorls, 2 are essential and 2 non-essential. First we will start with the non-essential whorls. Non-essential whorls are calyx and corolla. These are the non-essential whorls. This one essential. So let's begin with the non-essential first. Here these structures represent the sepals. Sepals are generally green in color. Green in color, they help in photosynthesis, they help in protection of the inner reproductive structures, either it is male or female, but the role of sepal is to provide protection as well as photosynthesis. Sepal, a single one is termed as sepal, a group of sepals is termed as calyx. Next is the bright part or the colored part. In some white varieties, it may be white. It's not necessary that it is always bright, depends upon its pollination process. So in a bright colored flower, this bright structure, these are the petals. Single one is a petal, group of petals is termed as corolla, and the role of petal or corolla is to attract insects and birds for pollination. Insects and birds gets attracted with this bright color, and they sit on the flower. The pollen grains gets attached to their body or to their surface, and then it is taken to the next flower, and in this way pollen grains get transferred. First role was the transfer pollination process, helping in the pollination process by attracting insects and birds. Second role is providing protection to the reproductive structures, which is the essential whorls of a flower. So these two. After that, the female reproductive structure. Female reproductive structure, which is having a stigma, a long tubular structure, which is the style. I have told in my all the videos that my board is a little bit slippery, so the diagrams may not be perfect diagrams. Sorry students for this. And here, stigma, style and ovary. stigma, style and ovary together. One it is termed as carpel, pistil, and the complete one is a gynoecium. Gynoecium, female part is the gynoecium. The carpels may be single, monocarpellary if it is one, bicarpellary. This we'll discuss later on. So this stigma, style and ovary, completely these three comprises the female reproductive part, which is the gynoecium. Then this one, bilobe structure and a long filament. So this is anther, and the long structure tubular part is the filament. And these two together forms the stamen. Stamen or androecium, which is the male reproductive part. This one, stigma, style and ovary. All these three form a carpel, and this is the gynoecium. It is a female reproductive part and it is gynoecium. Now these are the essential and non-essential whorls of a flower. But this flower is always on a swollen base, and this base is termed as thalamus. The thalamus is a structure, swollen structure, on which the reproductive, the essential and non-essential whorls of a flower are placed. The arrangement of these structures may be different, and there is different term for their arrangement. So this thalamus is the base. Then each flower may have a stalk. This stalk is termed as pedicel. Stalk or pedicel. This is by which a flower is attached to the axis, and this flower is attached to the axis. If the arrangement of flower based on their axis, if the growth of the axis is excessive or unlimited. So this we have completed. I am rubbing this part. If the growth of the axis is unlimited growth of axis, and the flowers are arranged like this on this axis, then it is this type may be of different, there are different varieties or structures in this type of inflorescence, but the basic thing that you have to take care is that the unlimited growth of main axis. Then, and this arrangement of flower on an axis is termed as inflorescence. So inflorescence, if this type of inflorescence is, then it is racemose type of inflorescence. If the main axis, it gets branched, and the flowers are, and they bear flowers like this. Arrangement may be different, but the growth of the main axis is very less. So growth of main axis is less. Then the type of inflorescence is termed as cymose type of inflorescence. So inflorescence, if a single stalk is there, single axis is there, then it is racemose type. If the stalk is small in height, then it is cymose type of inflorescence. This is about inflorescence. Next, we are coming to the structures, their attachment. Essential and non-essential verbs I have explained. So the attachment of essential verbs like andrecium or gynoecium to the respective structures are this. First is cohesion of stamens. How the stamens are arranged. So the first structure is monoadelphous. If you remember that in the China rose, I have shown you that on the stalk, this was the axis, and on this, the stamens you have seen that yellow colored parts like this. Here, all the stamens, they unite to form a single one. The many stamens, they unite to form a single structure, or they get united to form a single structure. Then the condition is monoadelphous condition. If they are arranged in two groups, like in case of pea plant. In case of pea plant, the condition is diadelphous condition, where the arrangement is 9+1 arrangement, and two groups are formed. So when two groups are formed, the condition is diadelphous, which is the example for this is pea plant. Next is polyadelphous condition, when they form various groups. When they are forming single group, it is monoadelphous. When they form two groups, then it is diadelphous. When they form different bundles, various groups, then it is polyadelphous. Like this type of groups are formed and they unite together, then it is termed as polyadelphous. Polyadelphous condition. Polyadelphous, mono, di and polyadelphous. Here when the stamens unite. But in certain stamens unite but the anthers are free. Here in the next or the last topic is syngenesis. Syngenesis, it is an example of sunflower. In syngenesis, the anthers, they remain attached like this, and the stamens are free. Anthers are attached, stamens are free, then it is syngenesis condition. Monoadelphous, anthers are free, so all stamens unite to form a single structure. Monoadelphous, which is the example for this is hibiscus. Diadelphous condition, when they form two groups. Example for this is pea. When they form more than 3 groups or more than 4 groups, then it is a polyadelphous condition. Example for this is mustard. Then if the anthers are united and stamens are free, then the condition is syngenesis condition. An example for this is sunflower. Now next, types of stamens. Types of stamens is that if the stamens are of different, the length of the stamen is different. Example is didynamis and tetradynamis. If the, for example, the example is given for tulsi. The number of stamens is 4. Out of 4, 2 is longer and 2 is shorter. So if the stamens are like this, 4 stamens out of 4, it is not necessary that 4 or 5 or 6. So for tulsi we are giving the example that out of this they are forming 2 + 2 structures, 2 long and 2 short, while here in mustard the structure is 6 tall and 2 short. So the 6 + 2 formation, sorry, not 6, 4 + 2, so total is 6. 4 + 2, which is in case of mustard, 4 long and 2 short. So this is again the example of tetradynamis mustard. Tetradynamis, tetra is for 4, 4 + 2, 4 long and 2 short. Didynamis, 2 long, 2 short, example is tulsi. Next is adhesion of stamens. How the structure to which a stamen is attached with. If the stamen is attached with the petal, if from the term also you can understand that epipetalous. Epi means outside. So if it is attached on the petal, attached with the petal, then it is epipetalous. If the stamens are attached with the petal, then it is epipetalous condition. If the stamens are attached with the with the gynoecium, then it is gynoandrous condition. Example is Calotropis. While for epipetalous, the example is sunflower. Now moving to the next part, which is about the gynoecium. This we have studied about androecium, and which is the male part. For the gynoecium, we use the term monocarpellary, bicarpellary, and monocarpellary, bicarpellary, tri, tetra, or polycarpellary. So this, by the name also you can understand monocarpellary. If the flower is having a single carpel, single male structure, female structure, then it is a monocarpellary structure. If it is having two structure, this one stigma style ovary, then it is bicarpellary. If it is more than two, then it is tri, and it is if the number increases four carpels attached together, then it is tetracarpellary. If it is more than four, then it is polycarpellary. Single carpel, monocarpellary, two carpels, bicarpellary, three carpels, tricarpellary, four carpels, tetracarpellary, and more than four is poly. Then one more term is bracteate and ebracteate flower. Bracteate and ebracteate. Complete and incomplete. Sessile and pedicellate. Actinomorphic, morphic, or zygomorphic. Now what are these terms? These terms, let me explain you. This one, first, bracteate. If the structure other than calyx, corolla, if an extra protective covering is there, but in some cases you have seen that suppose this is a flower, I am not making a complete floral structure. So this is calyx, then this was a corolla, calyx, and after this small structures are there. These are apicalyx structure, but if an extra protective covering is there, then it is termed as bract, which is in case of pink colored flowers, that 4 o'clock plant. That flowers are, if you remember, the petals are like some triangular in structure, and the flowers, this one. So these are the flowers, and this pink colored structures are the protective covering over this, that is the bract. So the flower is termed as bracteate flower. If the bract is absent, then it is ebracteate. Complete and incomplete flower. If all the four floral whorls are present, then it is a complete flower. If any one or two or any of the floral whorl is absent, then it is incomplete flower. Next is sessile or pedicellate. Pedicel I have explained in the diagram that pedicel is the small stalk with which it is attached to the main axis. If pedicel or the stalk is present, then it is a pedicellate flower. If that stalk is absent, then it is a sessile flower. So sessile without pedicel, pedicellate if pedicel is present. Next structure is actinomorphic or zygomorphic. If the flower is like this and you cut it from any of the plane and the structures are exactly same, when you cut through any plane, then the flower is termed as actinomorphic flower. Actinomorphic. But for a flower, if you can cut it into two from a single plane only, then it is a zygomorphic flower. Zygomorphic. If you can cut it into two equal halves from any of the plane, then actinomorphic. If from a single plane, then it is zygomorphic flower. This is I think all the terms I have explained. One more term is apocarpus and syncarpus that we have skipped. Apocarpus and syncarpus. Apocarpus and syncarpus. Apocarpus from the name carpus, carpel. It is about carpel, female reproductive structure. Stigma, style, ovary, it forms a carpel. Apocarpus if the carpels are free. When the carpels, free carpels, then it is apocarpus. If the carpels are fused, then it is syncarpus. Apocarpus and syncarpus. One more term I have skipped, which I have explained in class 9 videos, but still, gamocephalous, polycephalous. Free sepals. If the sepals are not attached with each other, then it is polycephalous condition. If the sepals are fused or attached with each other, then it is gamocephalous condition. Then next is for the petals also the same, gamopetalous and polypetalous terms are used. Petalous terms are used for the petals. If the petals are fused together, then the condition is gamopetalous. If the petals are free, then the condition is polypetalous condition. This one. Then the term is estivation. For arrangement of flower, it is inflorescence, but for arrangement of petals with petals or sepals with respect to each other, then it is estivation. Estivation. Now the arrangement of calyx and corolla. If the calyx and corolla, they are arranged end to end, this end to end. Then the second one is twisted one inside, one outside. This is volvate, this is twisted. Here, if you can see this one, this is outside, This is inside and this one outside. So here. This end, if single this one inside, one outside, one inside, outside. If all the structures are arranged and the overlapping is in such a way that one side of the petal is towards in inner side of the flower and one is towards outer side, then it is a twisted one. Twisted. Here it is the volvet. They are arranged end to end. They are not overlapped. They are arranged end to end. Then it is a volvet estivation. One more is there, which is just similar to the twisted, but the difference is that one of the sepal or petal is completely outside and one is completely inside, and the rest one inside, one outside. So this type of arrangement you can see that out of 5, this one is completely outside. Completely outside. This is completely inside. Here, one in, one out. So all three of this, all these three structures, these three. One in and one out. So this is termed as imbricate estivation. Imbricate. One more, last one is the vexillary, where only 4 structures you can see would be like this. These 2 petals or sepals fuse to form a single one. These 2, one outside, one inside, and this it forms a keel. So keel, and this type of arrangement is termed as vexillary floral arrangement. So this vexillary floral arrangement where two petals they fuse to form a single one, and one is totally covering the other floral whorls, and this type of arrangement is arrangement of sepals and petals with respect to each other or on the thalamus is termed as estivation, and this it is of 4 types. Velvet if it is end to end, twisted if one is inside, one outside, imbricate 2 is different, one completely outside, one completely inside, and 3 one in, one out. Vexillary is totally different from this, where it forms a keel which covers or overlaps the other floral or other petals. So this is all about all the technical terms, all possible we can say, all possible technical terms that we use to describe a flower. Thank you students for attending the class.